Hello, everyone. Hi. This is Theo.
And this is Georgia. Hello.
Hello, and welcome to our Homeward Foundation listening stream. So we've not done one of these before, and we're hoping after our first live stream test, things are a little better. So first of all, can you hear us? Can you see us? And is the lag horrendous? Do let us know. Hello,
I think the
everyone.
lag is about 2 minutes again, from what I can see,
Well, that
but that's just from my own.
okay. Doesn't look too bad on my Twitch on my end. Ah, here, see, no lag. That's good. So there's always going to be a little
That's
bit of
good.
lag.
That's better than last time.
There's always going to be a little bit of lag in terms of like what's streamed out, but in terms of
Oh
like
yeah, of course.
our lips or whatever, that's great. Fantastic news. Um, Great. It's so lovely to have so many people here. Thank you for coming. We do really appreciate it, and we're really glad that people are really enjoying Homeward. So we'll do our spiel first. Again, thank you so much for the support, but we do need some more. We're currently, I think we're at 14% at the moment, so we're
Which is
talking.
amazing.
Yeah, it is absolutely
Oh my
amazing
God.
because we have been in doing this for 3 days, just 3 days, and we've already hit the 14%. I'll let George talk now because I keep babbling.
Oh, yes. No, yeah, we're gonna wait for a few minutes, just to see if anyone else wants to pop on, and then we'll play the episode. We probably won't be doing commentary through it just because of the lag on our end. So we'll say something and it'll have been like 2 minutes since that thing has happened. But we will be in chat talking, or at least I will be in chat talking. My username is Ixalor. I have absolutely no idea why that is, but it is. Uh, and then Fear will also be there if he can manage it with his doing everything in the background.
No, I should be fine. I think it's going to be all good. Yeah, I think we're going to be good. Um, right, let's have a look at some of the messages in the chat. So Elliot says hi. Hello, Elliot. Thank you so much for coming. And Fishcake Sani, here, see no lag, fantastic. I keep misspelling Homewood, as it's very close to my relative's surname, Holmwood. I mean, I say it like Homewood. I don't know if Georgia feels the same, but I keep saying it as Homewood.
Oh yeah, it absolutely should be like Holmwood,
Yeah.
but my tongue just can't do it. It's Homewood. So I think we've made many actors say it incorrectly,
Oh well,
but
it's
then we've
fine.
also had Westerners said incorrectly. So it's.
Yeah, no one's noticed that yet. Stop it. Oh, also, as you can see coming up on our screen, we do have some wonderful art to represent our alerts. So our alerts are Dracula in different hats. We've just had the Easter Bunny hat come up. Um, so yes, please, if you
Please
want,
recommend more hats for me to draw on Dracula. I will do them for the next stream.
please do. That would be great. We can swap them in and out for different themes. Um, okay, I think we're probably pretty close to
Yeah.
starting. I'm just going to double check and see. Okay, we've got a few fair people in the chat, so let's get started. Let's do this. So, Georgia, I'm going to have to mute you in a second because otherwise it's going to echo out and
Okay.
it's not going to sound great. And then I'm going to mute myself and then we will start with the pilot. But I hope you all enjoy, guys. I think it's a bit louder than our voices, so I will try and turn it down a bit if it's too loud. But do let us know. And yes, uh, I hope you have a lovely time. We'll see you in about 45 minutes. So we'll be back at around 9 o'clock and we'll do some chatting. Thank you so much again for joining us, and we will see you very, very soon. Hi, I'm Theo Chethui, one half of the writing team behind the Homeward Foundation. We are releasing this episode as part of our crowdfunding campaign to produce the rest of Season 1. So if you like what you hear, please consider donating to our Kickstarter so we can make the rest of the Homeward Foundation a reality. The Kickstarter address is available in the show notes. You can find us at the Homeward Foundation on various social media, including Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Thank you for listening, and please enjoy the episode.
Testing. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm pressing the button, so I hope this is working. This is Madeline Townsend, Junior Archivist. I've just finished processing specimens 26 and 27, a knife and a silver ring from the Carpathians dig, and I'm about to unwrap specimen 28, a human skull, also unearthed during the Carpathians dig. So it looks like it arrived in one piece. You'll be pleased to hear that, Arthur. What? Hello? Is someone there? Mr. Larkin? Mr. Larkin?
You are listening to the Holmwood Foundation, Episode 1, Across the Moors. Content warning. This episode contains swearing, threat, brief emergency sirens, themes of possession/removal of bodily autonomy, and depictions of violence. Listener discretion is advised. Please see the show notes for more information.
We now turn to our breaking news story this evening with reports of a serious incident unfolding in Whitby. The Lucy Westenra building, belonging to the international charity the Holmwood Foundation, appears to have collapsed. 2 people, a man and a woman, are currently missing, with at least 5 reported dead and many others injured. All main roads and pathways leading up to the building have been closed off, and the general public has been warned to keep away from the area. More on this story as it develops.
What the hell happened back there?
I don't know. How did we get outside? We were just in the archives.
They're following us!
How could they be following us?
I don't fucking know!
We should go back! Call for help!
Go back! We tore apart! I can't let go of the head. Why can't I let go of the fucking... Please, we cannot lose it. Mina, tell him.
I'm Maddie, I'm not... Ah! This way.
What happened?
This way.
Onto the moat. You insane!
Would you rather remain here, chased by monsters? Keep hold of the head. This way. Now. How best to do this? Hello, this is Maddie. Oh. Hello, this is Maddie. If you followed Jeremy's instructions...
Oh, for Christ's sake, no! Don't you dare drag me into this. Talk to Mina bloody Harker on your own.
But... this again. How else will she know how to record?
This is Jeremy Larkin. I am tired, I am hungry, and I refuse to leave messages for whatever fucking delusion is going on inside my head. Thank you so much.
Okay, you've made your point. Please, just be careful with that. It's fragile.
Of all the bloody things to take with us. Not a bag, a coat, a phone, perhaps, so we could let someone know where we are. No, a recorder, and that fucking head.
Well, we weren't exactly ourselves at the time.
No.
So you're not even slightly curious about what the Harkers have to say? Why they're here? I'm speaking to Jonathan. He seems just as confused.
Jonathan isn't real. Just some kind of break from reality after the nightmare back at the Westenra building. As if things weren't bad enough.
Can I at least have the recorder back, please?
I might keep it, actually.
For what?
To record my intentions, in case I suffer another goddamn blackout and you go traipsing off across the moors again.
Intentions?
I want to go to London.
London?
The Foundation has offices there.
Are you mad? With those things hunting us?
The thralls will be taken care of by the Foundation extraction teams. When we get to London, we'll be safe.
Yeah, but what if the thralls follow us? You realise that makes everyone around us unsafe. And just how are we supposed to get to London from here?
As soon as I find a phone, I'll call the office. They'll help us send a car or something.
Well, that could be days from now. What do we do until then? Just keep walking, ignoring the Harkers, and hope the thralls don't reach us first?
Do you have a better plan? Because I failed to see you providing one. Besides talking to imaginary spectres.
I'm doing the best I can, Mr. Larkin. We can't do this on our own. These recordings, this whole plan, is so we can work together.
Work together? You have trapped me out here with a piece of a monster. Do you have any idea of the danger you put us in?
It was Jonathan's idea to steal the head, not mine.
Jonathan Harker is dead.
And possessing you, I'm sorry to say. He knows about the undead. He can help us.
God, I hate this. I hate that we're even talking about this. The Foundation can help us. The Foundation will help us, and I will not be relying on this stupid little recorder to save me.
Well, can I at least have the stupid little recorder back, please?
Fine. Oh, for fuck's sake.
It's Maddie again. Please, disregard the previous entry. Mr. Larkin, Jeremy, isn't taking this very well, and honestly, I don't really blame him. Just wish he was a bit nicer about it. Right, so, either he's explained everything to you, or you've read the instructions I've left in my notebook, so you should now understand how to use the recorder. I thought, since we're all stuck like this, we might as well try to communicate, right? No matter what Jeremy says. I know the modern world is probably terrifying, but I'll assist as best I can. And if this method really does let us talk, maybe I could try a proper instruction. Hi, hello. Good day. My name is Madeline Townsend. Up until recently, I was a history teacher in Exeter. And then my boyfriend, my male friend, Arthur, convinced me to move to Whitby for a career change. But then this happened to me, to us. As I record this, it's June the 9th, 2024, at about 11 a.m. It's been a day and a half since we left Whitby, and we're travelling by foot across the Yorkshire moors. The head is in a rucksack, wrapped in a carrier bag. Jeremy won't even look at it, so I've got it. We seem to have lost the creatures that were following us, but I keep thinking I hear them off in the distance. Those screams. We're heading towards civilization, somewhere with a phone, at least. Our mobiles were stuck inside the tech lockers at the Foundation when the building collapsed, which means that they were likely crushed. You probably don't know what a mobile is, but if you see someone on the road, just ask if you can borrow theirs. Jeremy will know how to use one. They're like, small portable telephones. We stole a tent from a campsite yesterday, which I feel awful about. But we have no money, no car, no real food, just some granola bars and tins of beans. Although we were able to find a map, so things are looking up. We don't want to draw the creatures into public spaces, so we're staying off the beaten track, no main hiking pathways. Once we're able, we'll call for help. But after what happened in Whitby, well, we just need to keep moving for everyone's sake. I noticed Jonathan took another crack at the head last night. If you could ask him not to do that.
Madeline?
What?
Miss Townsend?
Huh?
What's happened? Are you there?
Jonathan! Like this, see? It's got a nice satisfying click.
So, with just a press of this button, you can replicate the work of a phonograph recorder. How fascinating.
And if you touch it again, the recording stops.
Shall I press it now?
Yeah, just like...
And on it goes again. Mina will be impressed. Such advancements in technology.
Do you think you'll be able to show her?
I believe so. No doubt the process will seem much easier to her than to me.
You seem to pick it up pretty well yourself.
Thank you.
You really aren't Mr. Larkin, are you? I mean, he basically told me that if I ever made him use this recorder, he was going to smash it with a rock.
I will do no such thing to it, I assure you. No, I am Jonathan Harker. I apologize. We must seem invasive, like parasites. This strange afterlife is as mystifying to us as it is to you.
It's fine. It's fine. Actually, it's not fine at all, but we're all in the same horrifying boat together at this point, so...
This is not my first encounter with such nightmares as we are currently facing, at least in part. I will assist as best I can.
Thank you. Really.
I hate to ask, but my wife, is she...
I've left her some recordings on this, so she knows what's happening. But, sorry. The blackouts come and go. I can't communicate with her any other way.
Of course. No more than I can communicate with Mr. Larkin, I suppose.
Perhaps if I can find some way to connect with her, maybe work out what triggers the switch.
No. I would never ask you to surrender control like that. I understand. Truly, I do. Please, forget I mentioned it.
You tried to destroy the head again this morning, didn't you? Before I woke up. I noticed the bag was open.
I know what you told me, Miss Townsend, but you don't understand.
No, I do understand. I know what that monster did to you. But the Foundation has been trying for years. Every piece of Dracula they were able to uncover. I've seen the photos.
Are you saying we shouldn't even try?
I'm saying the head needs to be back with the Foundation, not out here with us. They'll know how to properly handle it.
If they have been attempting for over a century without success, what makes our effort any lesser than theirs?
They can safeguard it, like they've done with the other pieces. Ensure he can't hurt anyone else.
And those other vampiric creatures?
Thralls. They're what broke out of cold storage.
I remember them. Foul shades of the undead.
I don't know why they woke up. But that's why we have this. To help communicate between ourselves, coordinate properly. As soon as we can, we'll contact help.
And what of Mr. Larkin?
And what about him?
Will he communicate?
I suppose we'll just have to work around him for now.
This is your evening news update with North Yorkshire Radio. 7 people have been killed and many more injured in Whitby after a building was destroyed by a large explosion in the early hours of Tuesday morning. Emergency services were called at approximately 6:30 p.m. on the 7th of June 2024. Images from the scene show considerable damage to the front of the building, which is situated on the edge of the North Yorkshire moors. Police have requested that people avoid the surrounding area while they carry out their investigations. Robert Swales, 26, told us he was in his home when he heard a loud bang outside.
Yeah, so I thought I heard something weird outside, right? Like this loud thud. So I ran onto the street and all these car alarms were going off. When I looked up to the cliffs over there, the foundation building was on fire. I could swear I saw people moving about in the flames. Shut off the road. Said they couldn't confirm if it was a gas explosion or not. That's what they always say, isn't it? That old building creeps me out.
The property, known locally as the Lucy Westenra building, was one of several belonging to the Holmwood Foundation, a medical research charity with bases across the globe. We have reached out to the organisation's CEO, Jonathan Harker, but he has declined to comment. A North Yorkshire Fire and Rescue Service spokeswoman told us that they believe no foul play was involved in the incident.
Aha, I believe it's working.
Great. Fucking great.
As previously stated, I would appreciate you not using such language in front of me, Mr. Larkin.
And I would appreciate you not fucking being here. Pity we can't all get what we want, isn't it?
Well, as I have started to record, I shall leave a note, as per Madeline's instructions. Madeline, thank you for the detailed explanation of how to use your recorder. I think this idea of yours is quite brilliant, actually. Already I can feel myself understanding this world better. The route we are to take, the spaces between sleep. I have been able to hear my husband again and know he is safe. I will state for the record that it has been 3 hours since your last recording. It is the 9th of June, 2024. A date that does make my brain rather dizzy. Now, I will also state for the record who I am. My name is Wilhelmina Harker, widow of Jonathan Harker, and was in life the co-founder of the Holmwood Foundation, along with my dear friend Lord Arthur Godalming. It is horrific to think part of it has been destroyed in the manner we witnessed 2 nights ago. I'm sorry we were unable to retrieve your portable telephone devices as we fled. Had I known of their existence, I would have ensured that they were used. I feel that some background might be of help, to share what I understand of the world, and then perhaps you could also share with me, collect our knowledge, as it were. Arthur and I established the Foundation with a central purpose, to protect the public from Count Dracula and all remnants of his evil. Partly due to my own actions, the Count is now considered a purely fictional monster, but I am afraid he was very real. My husband and I, along with our dear friends, fought him when I was still a young woman. We were able to stop him temporarily, but alas, only temporarily. Whilst we made sure some of our story was shared with the public, it did not have as cheerful an ending as our dear Bram made it seem.
Dear Bram.
Mr. Larkin, would you prefer to tell this story, or shall I?
No, please, carry on, Mrs. Harker.
As I was saying, the events were changed to hide certain truths, to create a fiction that would entertain. It became a story to highlight the dangers of the undead, but curtain the full and terrible truth. I spent decades building the Foundation with Arthur, raising my son and securing our family legacy, before I eventually succumbed to illness. Then, as Madeline and Mr. Larkin are aware, I awoke from my eternal sleep and found myself trapped in the body of another woman. My husband Jonathan, to whom I have not yet been able to speak, was trapped in the body of another man. We seem to share custody over our own consciousness, although we do not appear to have control over how and when the switch occurs, nor do we know what is happening when our other self is awake. Mr. Larkin, do you feel that was an adequate explanation?
You mean apart from the fact that I never agreed to any of this? Yes, fine, certainly. That about sums it up.
Should I mention anything else of note?
How should I know? This is Madeline's pet project.
Well, you could tell me where we are.
We're near the River Rye, heading towards York. From there, we get a train to London.
Jonathan, Lucy and I visited York once, in the spring of 1889. Always so strange to hear familiar names in this brand new world.
Yes, well, plenty of time for sightseeing. Now Madeline's decided we're travelling exclusively off-road.
I agree with her notion. We cannot risk the lives of others in our endeavour. If those creatures are indeed tracking us from Whitby, Mr. Larkin, I assure you we will deal with them.
With what? Camping supplies? If they find us, they will tear us apart.
You seem to assume I am inexperienced in these matters. Let me assure you, I am not. No matter how distasteful we may find one another, I will not allow you to come to harm.
No? Oh, well, consider me miraculously at ease. For the pointless insanity and cheating stupidity.
Mr. Larkin remains as chipper as ever. Perhaps you and I will get to see York again, Johnny. Ah, I should like that very much. How I miss you.
This call may be recorded for training and monitoring purposes. Please press 1 to continue.
Oh, come on, please work. Please fucking work.
Hello. You are through to the Holmwood Foundation,
Oh, thank
home of
fuck.
the world's leading experts in classic haematology. Please select from one of the following options. Press 1 for research. Press 2 for charity resources. Press 3 for acquisitions. Press 4 to speak to an operator. Thank you.
Come on.
You have selected option 4. You are currently in a queue. Please hold.
God, this fucking hotline. If I had my phone, I could just...
Thank you for waiting. At the Holmwood Foundation, we have spent over a century working to improve our understanding of benign haematology and rare blood disorders using generous donations from donors, patients and the public to save and improve lives. You are still in a queue. We will get to you as soon as we can. Your call is important to us.
Yes, it must be really important, mustn't it?
I am sorry. We cannot take your call at the moment. Please leave your name and number, and one of our team will get back to you.
Get back to me? Look, could someone please get my father, Mr. Harker, to call me? I don't care who he's having drinks with in Amsterdam. I don't care if he's not talking to me right now. I can't get hold of him, or my PA, or anyone. I'm having a fucking mental breakdown. I'm stuck travelling with a woman claiming to be possessed by a ghost. Oh, and in case you hadn't fucking noticed, the Whitby building has been destroyed and all the thralls have escaped. So please, just answer this message. Didn't say where I was. Fuck!
Hey, it's Arthur. Sorry, I can't come to the phone right now. Probably beavering away underground. So leave a message after the beep, and I'll get back to you ASAP.
Arthur, it's me. I'm so sorry I haven't been able to call. We've just found a phone box, and one of the jackets we stole had a few coins, so we get one call each. I don't know how much you even know about everything. The thralls escaped cold storage, and I... Oh, God, Arthur, they're hunting us, Mr. Larkin and I. We couldn't go back to Whitby. We're trying our best, but we've got no money, no phones. We even have to steal our camping supplies. We need your help. We're being... Oh, God, I sound insane even saying it out loud, but we're being haunted, possessed, whatever you want to call it, by the Harkers, the ones who set up... Well, oh, God, even just saying it... I don't have a number for you to call back on, but we're heading to London. You were still in Amsterdam when this all started, but I hope you're back now. And I hope I get to see you. Look, could you call my mum? Could you just tell her that I've been invited away with friends? I don't want her to worry. I know how much news she watches. Oh, God, Arthur. I hope I see you soon. So very much. I love you. Hi, Mina. We've stopped for the evening. I'm going to try putting up the tent soon, so we have a base before it gets dark. But, I wanted to say thank you for leaving such a nice message earlier and for agreeing to my idea. It's strange, hearing my voice speaking back to me, but altered, with knowledge I've never had, memories of a time I've never experienced. But it means I can hear you, and you can hear me. And it's funny, but I don't feel quite so alone anymore. Like I have someone in my corner. Jeremy's gone off somewhere. He tried calling the office earlier, but he couldn't get through. So I suppose we're walking to London after all, which means I can't... Mina, I wanted to talk to you about something important to me, and it comes with a request. I've read about people in your time who transcended societal norms and expectations. Women who loved women. Men who loved men. People who lived beyond the bonds of binary gender. We have more words for it now, but that transcendence, those people, we never went away. I am a transgender woman, which means that while I was assumed to be male at birth, that is not the case, and I've been making strides for people to see me as I truly am. A therapist once told me that a body is sometimes like a garden that you tend so it can bloom, and that's what I've done. This body is mine, self-made, and I am so proud of it. Even through all this horror, it hasn't changed. Now, in a day or two, we'll need to replace the hormone patches on my back and leg. You can probably feel them. So if we can find a way, some way of doing that out here, well, it would mean an awful lot to me. I know Mr. Larkin doesn't think so, but whatever this is, whatever's happened to us, I believe if we work together, we'll have a better chance of surviving it. And I hope we can be friends, Mina. I think we could both do with a friend in all this.
You know who I am, so I won't be doing one of Madeline's little introductions. I'm doing this so you can see exactly the kind of bullshit you've thrown us into. Thrown me into. Did you hear that? I'm outside, stuck on watch. Must be, 9 p.m. Sun's still setting, but I keep seeing something out there, outlined against the dusk. I think it's circling us, making sure we can't fucking escape. It's been watching us since Madeline set up the tent. Probably longer, knowing our luck. I know what these things are, Jonathan. I've spent the last 20 years of my fucking life keeping them contained, watching them fester in cold storage. And as soon as you arrive, what happens? They escape. You did this to me. Madeline? They're after the head. I know they are. That's why they're following us. Got half a mind to just let them have it. If your wife ends up torn apart by ghouls, it's Madeline's fault. Not mine. No! No! Stay away from me! Madeline!
Jeremy?
We have to run, now.
What?
It's one of those things. It's following me.
And you led it here, to our camp?
What else was I supposed to do?
How do we stop it?
Stop it! Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how dangerous they are?
We can't run forever. How do we stop it? Fire? A stake through the heart? I mean, I'm sure that was... Get away from me! Oh, my God! Jeremy, please!
I can't do this! I'm not...
Jeremy?
Miss Townsend! Miss Townsend! Miss Townsend, listen to me. You must do exactly as I say.
Jonathan? But
I need something to stand for. All I have is a pen.
a photograph isn't going to... No, wait, I have a tent peg. I have a tent peg.
Through the heart. Stab it through the heart.
Yeah.
Touch me!
There's no time! Bug, it's coming closer!
You did it!
I did it! I think I'm going to be sick. Oh.
Well done. Very well done. Oh. Luckily this device wasn't crushed. I found your recorder.
This is Madeline. It's, an hour after Jeremy's last recording. As you heard, we were attacked by one of the thralls. Don't worry, Jonathan and I are safe. The thrall has been destroyed. We set fire to it as per Foundation protocols. I've never done that before. I've seen photos of thralls. Had I lasted any longer at the Foundation, one of my jobs would have been to monitor them down in the biological archives. Arthur promised he'd be with me when it happened, but seeing one up close, those blank white eyes, a mouth full of fangs no human jaw was meant to hold. It's hard to imagine those things used to be human. But you were almost one of them once, weren't you? Sorry, I'm exhausted. I'd very much like to sleep. I don't know if we should stay here or move on. I've treated my injuries as best I could with the first aid kit. I think they're mostly superficial, but you should be aware of them when you return. They sting a bit. I really wouldn't have survived tonight without Jonathan, Mina. He's been very kind. I wish I could just go home. Back to Arthur, back to my old life. But I can't. Can I? No matter what happens next, we have to keep moving, because those things are going to keep coming. You know, as much as I loathe to agree with Mr. Larkin, we've got to get the head to London. Arthur told me before he left that the whole point of retrieving Dracula's head in the first place was to ensure that even if they couldn't destroy him, they could at least... Oh. Well, do you think that's why all this happened? Because we finally unearthed the head?
Madeline? Madeline!
I'm in the tent.
Where's the thrall?
Jonathan and I took care of it. You don't have to worry.
You took care of it? How?
A tent peg. Seems they make excellent stakes.
That's actually quite impressive.
Yeah. Something I had to find out for myself after you ran away.
That's hardly... You know full well I have no control over the blackouts.
I saw the look on your face. I don't think you even fought for control when you realised what was happening.
It was a thrall, Madeline, a fucking thrall.
Exactly! I had no idea how to fight it. Jonathan had to help me.
Oh, for the last time, Jonathan Harker isn't real.
He was certainly real enough to help. Real enough to try. I think you ran away on purpose. I think you're a coward and a bully.
I don't care what you think of me. You know why? Because you are nothing, Miss Townsend, a junior archivist. You know nothing about these monsters, nothing about this fucking job. Maybe I will just leave you here with your recorder and your delusions of being Mina fucking Harker and let the thralls have you. I didn't mean
You know,
that.
I think I'll take my chances sleeping outside tonight. Enjoy the tent.
Madeline, wait.
Madeline, I have listened to what happened earlier tonight. The pain that seemed to jolt me from sleep is proof enough of your misadventures. Jeremy refuses to speak with me. If I were feeling charitable, I would believe he feels ashamed. I can only express my relief at your safety and the safety of my husband. I had almost forgotten his willingness to face the undead so boldly, but he could not have defeated it without you. Thank you, both of you. I should sleep. In a manner of speaking, I suppose I'm keeping us both awake. But I wish to record something for you. I know how it is to occupy a body that does not feel one's own. To strive to become the person you know yourself to be. Your story is not so hard of a notion for me to grasp, nor is it something I am blind to in the lives of those I have cared for. I am honoured to have your trust, even after invading your life in the manner I have. This is your body, my dear Madeline. I am but a guest here, and within it I have found no fault or complication, simply your unyielding understanding and willingness to accommodate such a trying situation. I promise that whatever you require, we shall find it, as soon as we are able. I think I would very much like a friend in all this. It is nice not to feel so alone. Nothing else has disturbed us tonight. As I speak, I am watching the dawn. It is rich and red, flooding the sky with colour. There was a time I believed I might never see a sunrise again. Through your eyes, it is a beautiful sight to behold.
It's Jeremy. Madeline's packing up the tent. I don't know how this works. I don't even know if you'll hear this, Jonathan. I suppose you and Madeline are in cahoots about this whole documentation idea, so no doubt she'll hear it too. No. No, she'll turn it off the moment she realizes it's me. Frankly, I wouldn't blame her. I didn't mean to run away. You know that, right? Every time we switch, it's like I just fall asleep, total darkness. I hate it. It feels like maybe one day I won't wake up. I heard what you did in the recording. I wanted to... Oh, fuck. Why am I even saying this? You're not real. You're just some idea in my head. Why would I be thanking you? But, whatever you are, you saved our lives. You Did more than I bloody well could have done. More than I actually did. Which means I'm secretly a better person than I realise, or you're a braver man than I'll ever be. Maybe I was running away. Oh, Christ, forget it. Just forget I said anything. Fuck this.
You have been listening to The Holmwood Foundation, written and produced by Theo Trithui and Georgia Cook. In this episode, Madeline Townsend and Mina Harker were voiced by Rebecca Root. Jeremy Larkin and Jonathan Harker were voiced by Sean Carlson. Arthur Jones was voiced by Samuel Clemens. The Thralls and Foundation phone voice were voiced by Becky Wright. The newsreader was voiced by Jessica Carroll. Robert Swales was voiced by Luke Condor. The episode was directed by Samuel Clemens. Script editing by Kat Armitage. Sound design and engineering by Benji Clifford. The theme music was composed and produced by Duncan Muggleton, and the episode art was produced by Georgia Cook. The Holmwood Foundation podcast is licensed under Creative Commons Attribution 4.0 International License. To view a copy of this license, visit creativecommons.org/licenses/by/4.0.
Hi, you've reached Maddie's voicemail. Sorry I can't pick up right now, but please leave your number and I promise I will call you back as soon as I can. Thank you.
Mads, it's me. Pick up, please. Maddie, please call me. I've just seen the security footage from the West End rebuilding. What the hell were you and Jeremy Larkin doing in the archives? Did you take the head, Mads? What happened? Look, I'm still in Amsterdam. I can't leave yet. Mr. Harker has decreed that no one is to leave until the containment breach has been neutralised. I'm coordinating the disaster from here, speaking to news teams, running damage control. The priority right now is assessing the West End rebuilding and ensuring all the limbs are accounted for. Basically, things are a mess. But if you can get hold of me somehow, please, I need to know you're okay. You are okay, aren't you? It's past midnight here in Amsterdam, so I reckon it's about 11 p.m. for you. Maybe you're just sleeping. Hopefully you'll get this. Good night, Maddie. I love you. Please call me back as soon as you can.
Okay, I think we're back. At least on my end we're back. Hello. Hello. George, are you back with us as well? Have you caught up?
Yes, I think mine is still playing the end of Arthur's
Okay.
voicemail,
No worries.
but I have muted it. Have you unmuted me?
You have been unmuted. You are
Right.
with us. Sorry, I hope that's okay. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, everybody, for staying and sticking around and watching the entire episode with us. So that was Across the Moors, which is our pilot for the Holmwood Foundation. If you haven't already had a look at our Kickstarter, I do highly recommend it. We have a range of tiers and rewards, from as little as £5 to as much as you can, spare, really. Georgia, do you know what's your favourite reward? Do you think, off the top of your
I'm
head?
still very proud of the world building tier awards that we've got. So our employee handbook, or your very first day at the Lucy Western rebuilding in Whitby, as you find out all the ins and outs of working for Mr. Larkin, his sunny self, and the safety procedures and the NDAs that you have to sign in order to be there. So I think that is now about 23 pages long. We've got a little bit more of the copy to finish, but it's mostly done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very fun. We're offering that as a PDF, and then if we get to a certain number above what we're asking for, we will provide it as a hard copy or a physical copy, and then we will also put the PDF as a slightly lower tier. So everyone who has contributed to, I think it's the £75. It might be slightly. I don't have the page up for you, but you will then get the PDF along with everything else. So it's one of my favourite rewards, and I'm very excited to send it to people.
I think what I love about that reward in particular is there's two versions. So there's one version which is like the clean copy, which is the copy that, you know, you would get if you were an employee of the Holmwood Foundation. But the other copy is an annotated copy from Arthur Jones, who is Maddie's boyfriend and someone who's worked at Holmwood for a long time. And
He's the head archivist.
He's the head archivist. So he's made his own notes and done his own little annotations and comments about the people and the processes and the workflows within the document, which again we need to finalise. So that's a really fun, like, little world building thing that we'd love people to see. So yeah, I do hope people want that reward as well, because again, it's one of my favourites. I also love your postcards, Georgia. So for those who are new to this, Georgia has been making some wonderful art whilst we've been kind of creating interest and hype for the foundation, and Georgia's done a variety of lovely artworks that we have now put in to the Kickstarter rewards as postcards, phone wallpapers, and stickers as well.
Definitely stickers. And some designs that we haven't posted online yet as well.
Definitely.
I have managed to hold myself back from immediately posting everything I've drawn, just so we have a few bits that are exclusive to our Kickstarter backers.
Yes.
If anyone has any questions about the episode, we are also here for that.
Yeah. We'd like to know what
Yeah.
people's favourite episode moments are. I think we know that we all love the phone box scene. I think
So good.
the phone box scene is a great scene.
Both Becky and Sean did such a good job. Becky, because she sounds so much like that automated phone voice that you have, and then Sean, being his wonderful Jeremy self, they do such a good combination.
It's so because we got to see it live as well, because the method in which we recorded quite a bit of our pilot actually wasn't remote. It was it was remote, but it was done recording together. So we had Benji, our sound designer, also as our sound engineer for the day, and then we had Sean and Rebecca join us on Clean Feed, which is it's basically like an audio version of Zoom, where Benji can monitor the levels with our director Sam, and we were able to go through each scene and they could act off each other instead of it being a remote, just a remote
Which I think was the
inputting.
important thing for us, especially
Yeah.
with those 4 characters, was making sure that Maddie and Jeremy and Jonathan and Mina, in whatever combination, could have a proper conversation with each other.
Yes.
I think other actors and characters going forward can be remote and will be remote, but as much as we can, we will always strive to have everyone, if not in the same room, then in the same virtual room.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, any questions for us, or we're just going to start babbling for a little bit longer? But yeah, more than happy to take any questions, or any comments, or anything at all. We are all ears, and we'll give people a little bit of time to catch up in the chat as well, because it will take a little while for that to settle. Just trying to think of what else we can mention. I mean, we gained a few backers earlier, so if you are one of them, thank you so much. So we are now on 67 backers.
Excellent.
So it was 65, now it's 67, so thank you so much again for sticking around and helping us. So now it means our current money is £3,289. So yeah. Yeah, okay, interesting. There's a question in the chat, Georgia. Would you like to
Yes.
check the question in the chat?
Yes, I've just seen it.
Yes.
Elliot asks, so are Maddie and Arthur dating? I'm intrigued by her calling him her boyfriend and then correcting. So that they are dating.
Mhm.
They've been dating for a little while. She's just moved in with him. I believe that was a ad lib from Rebecca, and I believe she, as Maddie, wasn't sure if Mina knew from her time period sort of what a boyfriend was in that aspect, sort of how she would feel about that. So I think she was correcting for politeness' sake, as you do when you're talking to a semi-Victorian ghost. I mean,
Mina isn't a Victorian ghost, which is
in
so.
the 50s.
She died in the 50s. Yeah.
I think that was Maddie's politeness, but they are dating. I think we tried to keep that secret for a little while with our world building, with just how close they were.
Yes, that was good fun. So the second question is, how human animal are the thralls? How much do we want to say?
That's a good yes. So I suppose the thralls, I mean, we say this in the episode, so it's not really a spoiler. The thralls were all once human. They are an aspect of a vampire. They are sort of our interpretation of the children of the night. I think that's a good way of putting it.
Yes.
They are what can happen to you.
Yes.
Poison.
And we won't say anything else, just in case. Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I love the thralls, and like you were mentioning in the comments, it was great. We had a little WhatsApp group with Becky, who does the voices for the thrall and the automated voice, and we originally approached her. We were like, "This is what a thrall is," and she was like, "I'll send you some noises." And we just got these like voice notes of just this woman screaming, which obviously out of context would have been absolutely terrifying.
Nobody goes through our WhatsApp voice messages.
This woman just screaming. Yeah, it was good fun. Yeah,
and her monsters are always so amazing. She's done a couple of voices for us with Big Finish, and my god, the versatility is. Those lungs are amazing.
What I know, she worked for you on the 11th Doctor series, didn't she? Yeah. Yes. What kind of character did she play for that?
She played a little girl, a little girl creature in a fake Victorian house. I always do. I do haunted houses, and I do Victorian spooky things, and then at the end, slightly spoilers, the little girl becomes something else that is very akin to a thrall. So, all voices.
Very good. Yes. Oof. God. Absolutely creepy. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Not at the moment. I'm wondering how long we can keep this up. Trying to think if there's anything else we can talk about. Do you have a favourite scene, Georgia? That isn't obviously everyone's. That isn't the phone thing.
There were so many fun moments in the first episode that I'm very happy exist. And I love Jeremy's almost apology at the end. I think that was the very last scene we ever wrote on the advice of our wonderful script editor Kat. And we gave Jeremy his little attempt at being a nice person. And I will always praise everyone who worked on this. But Sean did such an amazing job getting that across. It's very special, and Maddie and Jeremy's argument at the end is also
I love that scene because it is a culmination of like for Maddie, I feel like it's her finally letting loose on him a bit. Like, he has been very mean like the entire pilot. He has been quite, verbally abusive in a sense, because he's stressed, not because he's actually trying to be mean. But he blames her for everything that's happening. He's very rude.
Not a contributing member of the team.
No, she's trying very hard to, let's be a cohesive team. And he's like, sod this. No. Absolutely not. Trying to think of what else I can say at this point. But yeah, in terms of that scene, hearing that out loud, I think was one of the best thing. Because it was like a combination of everything that happened before. You can't have that scene without the thrall scene, and the thrall scene is such a terrifying scene to happen to anyone without, and Maddie to get through the other side and think, actually, I'm not taking this crap anymore. I'm not dealing with this. I'm not dealing with you being this way. I don't care if you're supposed to be my boss. Like, this is a situation that I'm in. But yeah, I love that scene, and I love Maddie coming out to Mina, which, for the record, we had sensitivity readers for. So, for clarity, I am a trans man, but I do not understand the trans female experience. So I really wanted to make sure we got it right. So whilst I understood quite a few elements of, what it is to be trans and to go through transition, obviously it's very different if you're transitioning to the other gender. So we got some lovely sensitivity readers in to read particularly what Maddie said to Mina and then what Mina said back to Maddie, just to make sure that we were on the right path. And we absolutely were, and that was a relief. And we were able to really tighten up things that we'd thought about or elaborate and make sure that Maddie emotionally had no nerves about being trans, but actually was just nervous about the situation that she had been forced in. So yeah, that's gonna be me chatting about that, because I think we've got some questions we should probably answer. So
we do. We have a couple more.
So do you want to say first?
Yes. It says, I know you two can't read fan fiction, but do you mind if we write it?
I have no issue with anyone writing fan fiction.
Absolutely no issue. Yeah, unfortunately, we can't read it. It's something we've kind of brought over from Big Finish. Is that in the same way that we wouldn't be able to accept people writing things for us. I don't think we could read fan fiction until it's over, and then we will read all of the fan fiction,
all of it,
and look at all the things and consume everything that anyone has ever made.
Yes, I mean,
but we don't want to accidentally steal something from someone, and we don't want someone to say that we have stolen something from them. So yeah, it's for both.
Though saying that, if you're a fan artist, we want to see every interpretation of our characters ever. So please do.
Oh yes, I mean, I know we draw them a certain way, but we don't consider the way that we draw them to be canon. It is more like our fanon interpretations of our own characters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you perceive them in a different way, then that is just as accurate as how we draw them.
Absolutely. We have another question. I'll read this one out so you can answer. Okay. So, is Jeremy's father a Mr. Harker? Or did I misunderstand that part on the phone scene? If so, why is his surname Larkin?
Yes, so this is another thing that we were probably not so stealthily trying to keep on the down low while we were posting extracts and world building. Johnny3, as we call him over on Tumblr, is Jeremy's dad, so the CEO of the Holmwood Foundation. And we will not reveal just yet why Jeremy is a Larkin and not a Harker, but that will be revealed in time. We have plans.
You do have plans for that, yeah. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you so much for asking it. The next question we're going to struggle to answer, but we're going to talk about it anyway. So super random, but how much Foley work did your sound designer have to do? My dad is an audio engineer, and these are the things I like to know. I wish I knew, because we literally said, Benji, here is all the recording.
Here's what we need.
And then he came back with the draft, and we just sat there with our drawer just on the desk. Just, how did you do that? I mean, I
think he has an immense library of sort of pre-made Foley, because it's his job. He's a fantastic sound designer. I know anecdotally for the ghost voice reverb, we asked for something very similar to how, again, something is done in Big Finish with a character called the 11, who has a variety of different selves sort of occupying his head, and he has a reverb whenever another of his previous regenerations takes over, and we really like how that was done there, so we asked if we could have a version of it for the Harkers. And I think it's, you take what the voice that is already there, and then you flip it over.
Mm.
I think is how he explained it, and you just use that and sort of echo it back to itself. So rather than a filter that you put on top, it's how you deconstruct the actual voice, which I think is really cool. As someone who is not a sound person at all, I do the tippy taps and I do the drawing.
The drawing.
I do the drawing.
The scratchy scratch.
Yeah,
So
I
the
do
tippy
scratchy
taps and the scratchy scratch. So I did a little bit of Foley work when I was studying animation. I love Foley. I love the idea of doing more Foley,
Foley's
but it's not
amazing.
something I've done ever. Or I have done back when I did my animation course about 10 years ago. So it's something I'd love to look into again. Maybe Benji can give me some tips. But yeah, it's nuts how important sound design is. Like when you really think about, like we can do half the stuff that we were trying to do in audio without Benji giving us some music or whatever. Just even adding the little like the little hold music and the button presses and the phone scene, like none of that would work as well without those little moments, without filling that dead air. So yeah, we love Benji. Hopefully, we're hoping to do a few more of these kind of Q&As, and we can have Benji on as well and do one on
We've asked him
sound.
if he'd like to. He
Yeah,
said yes.
he said
if we can
yes.
arrange it. That'd be really good.
So we will arrange something. We're going to try and get maybe Sam and Benji might be good. So we'd get our director and the lovely Arthur, who we've only heard twice, multi-talented man, and maybe Benji as well, because they work together quite a bit. So it'd be quite nice for them to bounce off each other. So hopefully we'll try and get them guys to come on and do a little chat with us. Okay, another question. So Ian asks, I know you'd worked with Sean a lot on Big Finish, but had you worked with the mighty Rebecca prior to this?
We hadn't. I
Nope.
think she's been in Big Finish before. She's Tanya in the Stranded series, and I believe she was also in Time War.
Yeah, she had a relatively small part, I believe, in Time War 2. And I don't remember anything about it. I just know that she had a part in it. And it's just really funny how it all comes back to...
It was before either of us
to
started
Gallifrey.
working. We'd both written for the Gallifrey range at
Yeah.
this point, but it was before we came on board
Yeah.
as writers. So we just, like ships in the night, we passed.
Yeah.
But we knew sort of while we were constructing our imaginary cast list that we'd really like her as Maddie, and we didn't know if she would like to. So we contacted her agent, and we contacted her, and we were thankfully able to speak to her at Big Finish Day, a convention for Big Finish sort of actors, writers, and fans. And she was really interested, and she said yes, which is just so lovely.
I mean, even now, I think, like, we left that day, like, having met her in person, absolutely buzzing that we may have actually found our Maddie. We were just like, we felt like we knew we had Sean by this point, and Sean was so eager to work with us and to be involved, and was just like, yeah, I love the idea, just sign me up right now, without even seeing much of anything. We were like, okay, Sean, like, he's like, I love you guys, I just wanna work with you. So it's very, very sweet. And we kind of wrote a lot of Jeremy with Sean in mind, because they do have, he plays Narvin in Big Finish, and there are a few similarities, not the swearing for sure, but yeah, definitely. It's so good. But yeah, so like it was so nice to have Sean, and then know we had our Jeremy and our Maddie set up, and it was just figuring out what to do next, because it made it very real and very terrifying. And now we're here talking about it with lots of other people who now know Jeremy and Maddie, which is great. Okay, I'm gonna stop babbling. So let's have a look. So Lady Romana replied with, fair enough, the episode was fantastic, just was curious how much you had to do from scratch. 11 sound design is one of my favourites from Big Finish. Thank you.
Me too. I love the 11.
I know you love the 11. Ian asks as well, so it says, I think Stranded is amongst the many best things Big Finish have ever done, and Rebecca was one of the best things in it. I love her.
Yeah, Stranded's so good.
See, I haven't listened to Stranded. I feel very behind.
Oh, it's one of the few sets that I have physically. 'Cause I don't have a lot of room for the physical sets that Big Finish release, so I tend to just get them digitally. It's one of the few that I bought to have on my shelf.
I'm being shouted at to listen to Stranded in the chat. I will do so, chat. I will do so.
Yes.
I will. I promise. Okay. Next question then. So how long has this series been in production? So we can tell the
I mean,
story.
conceptually, it's been around since about 2020-ish. This was sort of before Dracula came back and was in vogue. Like, Dracula is very much in vogue at the moment, but it's always been a Dracula story, but we had it and we thought, well, nobody's going to be particularly interested in this. We might as well, turn it into something completely unrelated, make up a monster, make up some ghosts, and just kind of work from there. And we were originally going to write it as prose. And so we wrote out the big, long plot synopsis of this, but it didn't seem to work. We had other things we were doing, we had other scripts we were writing, we had day jobs and things, so we put it aside for a little while. And then I was on another podcast discussing a found footage found footage film called Grave Encounters, which is a Canadian horror film and is amazing if you like found footage ghost husting shows that go wrong. But we watched this together. I made Theo watch it with me because he hates horror.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing more fun. And we were at a convention the next weekend, and our table was a bit quiet because we were between shows. And we thought, well, maybe we could turn the Holmwood Foundation into a found footage thing, but make it audio, because we seem to be writing a lot of audio scripts at the moment. And that just sort of sparked something. And then I think within a couple of months, we'd had all of season 1, the scripts drafted.
Mm-hmm.
And we just plunged into making it a thing. And then suddenly here we are. And
I mean, I think my because to be honest, I've been finding like script writing. I love script writing, but I have a very big 9-to-5 job that takes up a lot of my time. And I remember being at this convention, and I'd been really struggling to get into anything original for a while. And we were talking about this, and I think I just pulled out my notebook and I just started just writing down a couple of ideas for scenes. And those scenes are still in there. The scene where Maddie at the very beginning tries to introduce herself, and the recorder just shuffles and falls, and then Jeremy barging in saying, "I want nothing to do with this," are the same scenes.
Pretty much unchanged.
Unchanged since we started the project. And that, even now, that's insane to think. Yeah, that's I think that was May, early May. And then it was just, we have a pilot, why don't we see who's interested, and started reaching out to lots of different people, just to see if anyone would be interested, to help us create this, before we even had a cast. And yeah, it's been so wonderful to have friends in our corner, one verifying that yes, this is good, and a good idea. So we spoke to the lovely David K. Barnes, who made Wooden Overcoats, and he did a really lovely chat with us about fundraising and creating audio drama, because we hadn't done it before. We'd only ever written Big Finish scripts, so it was our first time producing anything from scratch, and that was amazing. We spoke to the lovely Tal Muneer, who is one of the producers on Re-Dracula, because obviously they are making Dracula content, and we thought it would be best to also talk to them about making Dracula content. And they were very supportive. We spoke to Alfie Shaw at Big Finish as well, just about things like rates and just about timings and contracts and all that stuff, because you want to make sure you get everything right, that you come across very professional and you're doing all the right stuff.
You're treating people properly as well. You're treating them like the professionals that they are, and you're not screwing them around. You're making sure that they know that they're in good hands.
Yes, especially considering we were new to it all. So yeah, it's been a fascinating thing, and to get to here to now, to a polished pilot is now out, in the world are listening to it and making theories and wanting to write fan fiction and all this incredible stuff. That's insane to me, but also really wonderful because we've loved these characters for such a long time. Like Jeremy and Maddie have been in our consciousness since 2020, which is a long time to sit with characters, and they've never really gone away, even if we've had other scripts to write or other stories to write. We've always been drawn back to Jeremy and Maddie and, you know, this whole deal. So, yeah. And Johnny and Mina, obviously. So it's been amazing. And we have a new question in the chat, so I'm going to stop talking and let you read this one out.
Okay. Since this is your first time producing, what has been your biggest challenge?
I mean, casting was hard. But casting is hard because you don't want to tell everyone no. Like you
want to cast everyone.
You want to cast everybody. You want to be like, I'll find a part for you and you and you and that's so hard when you're technically a very small production. The pilot is 7 people.
It was slightly larger. We shrunk it down, so it's as small as it could be.
We had quite a few like smaller scenes, which would be in episode 2 if you want episode 2. Do the Kickstarter, but like we had, I mean, I think this is okay to share. I think we had a scene where Maddie got hold of her mum and dad, or like tried to leave them a message, which I think was originally in episode 1, and we had to scrap it because we just couldn't do it within that time frame, which was lovely because it was just. Yeah, I'm not going to go into it because I'm hoping you guys are going to hear it, but we had stuff like that where there was a lot more people, but a lot of shorter scenes that felt more found footage, but we just knew we couldn't do it on the budget.
I think a lot of it is the stuff that you don't really think about as a writer, because as writing, we're not at the very start of production, but we are very close to it, so we make the thing and then we just throw it at our producers and they do everything else, and then suddenly we are the producers and we think, there are contracts that you've got to sign, there are people you've got to chase, there are invoices you've got to pay, you've got to build a website, you've got to pay for the website, you've got to make sure the domain is correct, you've got to make sure that all the socials are all synced up and are easily found and have all the right information on them and are updated regularly. You've got to make sure that everyone knows the right stuff. You've got to make sure everyone's timings are correct. So if, like us, you're recording remotely together, you've got to make sure everyone is free at the same time on the same day. If there are time differences between people, you've got to make sure you factor that in. Got to make sure everyone's happy, everyone's fine, there's nothing in the script that anyone objects to saying, and if there is, work out why. It's all, not that has been the case, but it's all something you've got to consider. And sometimes an agent will come through with a request that we hadn't considered, so we have a clause in our contracts at the moment, which I would recommend anywhere that anyone do, that we don't use AI. We will never use our voices for AI, and we will not ourselves use AI in production of the Holmwood Foundation. So it's a lot of very little things just piling on that you don't necessarily consider until you have to start planning something out, and then you realize, oh gosh, it's so much more than just writing a script and then handing it off to an actor. But it's great fun. It's really, really satisfying. I say it like it's hard work. It's really, really great.
It's great work. It's hard work, but the hard work pays off because look what we've made. We have 45 minutes of an audio drama that didn't exist, almost 7 months ago. And now we have something that people can listen to and see, and yeah. So, very cool. Oh, we have a message. We have two messages in the chat that are quite interesting. So I'll just do the quick one first. To say sorry to interrupt, but hi, I've just listened to the first episode. I really enjoyed it, and it's kind of inspired me to finish work on something I was writing that the original concept made me decide to write. Ah, well, that's amazing. That's so cool. Well done. So, air in your tires. I don't know your first name, but that's great. Like, I'm so glad we're able to help inspire you to get some writing done, because that, I mean, honestly, sometimes I need someone to push me to get some writing done, and I love to write, and I still feel like I'm just digging in the weeds sometimes, because, you know, life happens, and that's okay. Like, it's absolutely fine to not need to write or be able to write all the time. So yeah,
But
so
I hope we get to see it in the future.
yes, do share, do let us know. That'd be fantastic. And then we have another question, which is the plan to have all episodes follow the same found footage format?
Yes. Yes, that is ultimately our plan. Just because Dracula is basically Victorian found footage, and we're trying to update that for a modern audience. So yeah, we very much plan to make everything found footage. Everything is either through the recorder or through, you know, snippets from like news broadcasts, as you see in the pilot, or from other areas. We get some interesting. We get a TikToker in later on who we love very much. We can't wait to show everyone. So yeah, that's ultimately our plan, is to make everything found footage in some way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can say on that, but you just don't want to spoil it. Yeah, very cool. Aaron Your Tires replied with, I plan to finish the first piece this month and I will tag you as inspiration. Haven't really done scripts before, so it may not be very polished, but it'll be a thing. Sometimes finishing the thing is more important than whatever the thing is. Having it finished, having it something to play with is a lot more important.
I mean,
sometimes.
That's the thing with first drafts, is it doesn't matter what state the first draft is in, it's finished, and that's so important, because then you have a thing to work with. I always picture it as like you're putting the clay on the clay wheel, the name that I've forgotten, but your first draft is you getting the clay there, and then as soon as you have it, you can make it into a thing that you like. You can make it into the thing that you're picturing. So please do tag us, we'd love to see it.
Yes, please. Okay, I think we're probably getting close to the end now, unless we have other questions. We do have another question. Thank you, Lady Romana, for asking so many questions. They are lovely questions. Assuming this Kickstarter is funded as planned, what is the timeline like for releasing the next episode?
So I believe we've put it on our Kickstarter because we want to be as transparent as possible with our timelines. We want to finish final edits on the script, and then hopefully start recording late 2024, early 2025 for a release in spring. So a release in time for the next time loop in Dracula, or very, very close to, hopefully. It might be slightly later than that, just because productions tend to run a little bit longer than you expect. But yeah, so the spring 2025 is when we hope to release the full first season.
And we're hoping to release them bi-weekly. So there'll be 1 week where it's on, the next week it'll be off, but the week after that will be on. We'll probably do a listening party the week after, if that makes sense. So a bit like this, we'll have, episode 2, then the following week on the same time, we'll have an episode 2 listening party, then episode 3 will be released, an episode 3 listening party, and so on and so forth. At least that's how I imagine it in my head. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. But please don't be apologetic for throwing out questions. It's very nice to have questions we can answer, because there's probably questions we can't answer right now. But yeah, so it's been so lovely to chat and listen to the episode again. I do love listening to it. I think it's been so well put together by Benji and directed by Sam, and everyone's just done such an amazing job. We just feel so lucky to be part of it. I know I feel lucky to be part of it. So
Have people willing to go along with our strange little plan.
yes. And, if you haven't kickstarted yet, if you haven't backed us, for as little as £5, you can join our Discord server, which actually currently, I did do a TikTok on this, but it is quite funny, to be fair. We have a little Discord app, which is Dracula's Head. Dracula's Head is able to do a magic 8-ball question answer for us. So, and he'll reply.
Generally in the negative, I found. He's not
very nice.
He's not very communicative.
No, like today he said sadly no about someone wanting pizza. So, it's a good time. It's very funny. Georgia tends to put some of the art in there.
I will put our art in there first before I post it to socials. So if you like some of the art that we've been producing for the Holmwood Foundation and you'd like to see it first, that's where it goes.
And again, that's as little as £5. So for those of you who would like to, support us but haven't got a lot of money, for £5 you can join us on the Discord and get all excited and talk things through. We do have one last question. Yes, John. Poor John in the chat was denied pizza by Dracula today, which is very sad. Let's do Lady Romana's question. Again, thank you so much for joining us. So the last question: when my babies wake up from a nap, but during recording, do you try to have everyone in studio together? So we mentioned it briefly. We haven't done an in-person recording, which is a shame.
Just because of expenses.
Just
it's incredibly
budget.
Expensive to hire a studio.
Yeah, very expensive. But we can do like virtual rooms. So usually some of the more independent podcasts do a lot of like remote recording, but we were able to get the group together. So, really group, me, Sam, Georgia, then Sean, Rebecca and Becky were all together for the recording for the pilot. And then we got Jessica and Luke's and Sam's lines remotely. So they were just delivered after. And so that's how kind of that worked. And then we just did all the recording in one day, really. Took less than a day, like 10 till 4-ish.
I should say at this point, because we're discussing Kickstarter, another one of our stretch goals is to hopefully have an in-studio recording day for one of our episodes, which we will, of course, document so people could see how it went. So that's one of our future plans, is to get us all in studio, because it's such a good vibe being in studio with people and being able to see people and not just hear them over a mic is really, really good as well. So that's one of our plans.
Yeah. I'm in studio on Monday for something I can't talk about. And I'm very excited. But yes, anyway. Cool. I think that's it. I think we have been on here for half an hour talking about the pilot, and we did listen to the pilot as well and did lots of questions. So I think we're probably at the end. So thank you everybody for coming along and chatting with us. It's been amazing. Thank you, Lady Romana. Yes, it was amazing we did it in a single day. But I guess we were only doing a 45... Well, it was half an hour to 45-minute pilot. So, yeah, it was all good. But we are all very happy.
I was going to say before we head off, I think next time we do a stream, I'm going to try and do a drawing stream. I've got a bunch of different Holmwood and Dracula-related things I'm working on at the moment. So if we can get it working and make sure the lag isn't too bad, I'm going to try and do that for a couple of hours. So if anyone's interested in that and wants to see how I draw, then we'll let you know on our socials when that happens.
And I think...
which is the plug to follow our socials if you don't already.
Yeah, please follow us everywhere. Follow us everywhere. I was going to say, I think actually this has been the most successful stream in regards to lag. I know there's been a lag of it going out.
Yes, there was lots of lag last time, but it's better than it was, I think. Chat, tell us if it was horrendous, but I think it's been
last
all right.
time was horrendous. This time was fine. I think this feels like I reduced everything so we could pretend that my MacBook, which is like a $2,000 MacBook, is actually the most low-end computer going. So everything should actually be working fine. And And yeah, Elliot says it's so much better. Elliot was there last time. Elliot had to deal with us last time.
Yes.
So that's good news.
Thank you, Elliot.
But yes, drawing streams, definitely Q&A with the rest of the cast. We can convince them to join us. We want to play some games. We're trying to think of a way.
We really want to play Fury of Dracula with some of our cast members because we know you can play it online. So that's also an idea of ours.
If you don't know Fury of Dracula, it's an amazing board game which I've played with Georgia before, where you can play as the cast, the crew alike against Dracula, and someone plays Dracula, and you're trying to stop Dracula taking over Europe. It's
basically
much
a
fun.
stealth game. It's very fun.
It's so fun, and apparently there's a digital version. We really would like to try and find a way of playing it. If we can find a way of playing it, we will, and we'll rope someone from Holmwood into playing it with us, hopefully. But yeah, so that's the plan. But yeah, we're going to leave you now, but thank you so much for joining us. We have got another backer as well, so now we have 68 backers. Thank
you so much.
So thank you so much. If it's anyone here, thank you. And yes, please enjoy the rest of your day / night wherever you are. And thank you again for coming. And we look forward to talking to you guys very, very soon. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.